What's going on, geeks? You're listening to episode 294 of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. My name is Cody Armour. I'm here with Shelley Nollan.
Hello.
And Lj.Lowery.
What up?
And this week, we're geeking out about Street Fighter, Paramount news, and Knuckles. gotta get that and Knuckles in there.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're actually geeking out about Knuckles.
It makes sense.
Yeah. It does, I promise. Let's just get right into it this week. We have a lot we missed last week because of Valentine's Day. There's a whole lot of Paramount stuff, but we'll get into what we've been playing first.
Quite a mountain to climb.
Get into the gaming news, and then we'll get into the rest of it. Go ahead, LJ.
Alrighty. I did get a review copy of... We're actually going to get into some more fighting game stuff later, but I did get a review copy of King of Fighters 15, which is the game... It's got the guy from Smash Brothers in it, Terry Bogard. It's the guy from Fortnite. So that game's good.
This is what I'm confused about. We're going to get into it later, the Street Fighter thing.
Yeah.
But, I've never heard of King of Fighters. There's 15 of them.
There's more than... Yeah, so...
Many King of Fighters. Many Kings of Fighters.
King of Fighters is about as old as Street Fighter, I think.
Is it? Okay.
So,
because Street Fighter just released Street Fighter 2 over and over and over and over.
Yes. They're like, Street Fighter 2 Hyper Turbo. That's... Speaking of the Knuckles meme, that's where, the Hyper Turbo Extra Special Edition and Knuckles, meme comes from. See, we're threading the needle right here. It all started with Street Fighter.
Street Fighter 2...
New
15.
challengers, and then there's Ultimate, there's all these different names, But anyway, King of Fighters is cool. Mainly if it's fun. They've figured out a way to I feel like it's it's easy to understand how to play, but the bummer is if you're not gonna get into that community or get into it online, then there's no reason to play it. There's a little arcade mode and. Which is fun. I tried to get into it online, and I haven't won a match yet, but I've had some good fights and some good, I wish I would have, actually won some of those. I get so close, and I just ended up losing. So I'm probably going to give that game, a 6 or a 7, because it's just, it's for fans that have stuck with that series for so long, and it's not really very different from the previous one, which came out in, 2016, so... I'm working on that review. Actually, I've already started writing it because I got it Thursday, and I'm I've spent 2 nights with this and Saturday morning, so I was I'm just gonna get it done. Wish it could be better. Wish it was going to revolutionize things. Hopefully Street Fighter 6 will, and actually change things. Street Fighter might need a different logo, but we'll see. I know that's been a meme around the internet. But the other game, it's been to throw around the most commonly used journalist term, it's been a breath of fresh air to go back to Ghost of Tsushima.
Nice.
I went back, started playing the director's cut version. I haven't been to Iki Island yet. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to go for the platinum in that, and so I'm just kind of mopping things up on the main islands before, and feels good to go back and take some photos again, and just I love being in this world, and it was almost in kind of a not really a FOMO because Horizon's not my thing, but it was almost I would really like a big open world game right now because games like Sifu and King of Fighters have been kicking my teeth in, so it feels I haven't actually been able to enjoy video games for the last couple weeks, and so
Horizon,
so this was just I'm back in my comfort zone kind of a thing.
Nice, that's good.
So I'm playing that again, which feels good. So that's kind of what I've been up to in gaming. I did just sitting on my bed unopened right now, but I did get an Oculus Quest, so I'll probably have a lot of Oculus stuff to talk about next week, so I'm excited for that. So that's what I've been up to.
What about you, Shelley?
I've been playing Pokemon Legends Arceus and Horizon Forbidden West. I beat Pokemon Legends. Technically, I beat it. I rolled credits, but I've been told there's a crazy post game.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
And there's apparently this incredible final boss-esque thing that happens that haven't done yet. I think I know what I'm supposed to do to get there. I just haven't finished it yet. I'm sort of trying to work through the Pokedex, that sort of thing. It's kind of turned into definitely a secondary game. I'm really grateful I can actually play handheld again, because for the longest time I couldn't play handheld because my Joy-Cons were drifting. But I got new Joy-Cons, or I got new off-brand Joy-Cons that work really well. So now it really kind of is just I can put something on the background and just like
that's a great handheld game.
Yeah, so that's where we're at with that. It's like, I can just kind of casually pick it up and play it and just kind of progress. I don't have to grind it out.
Even if you spend like 20 minutes just like catching Pokemon or just doing some kind of small quest.
Exactly. I love grinding at the in the distortions and stuff. So I'm still having a good time. But yeah, it's not one of those things where it's like I can't just like play it 24/7 or anything like that anymore. My husband's been playing it, so that's been fun to watch him play though. But no, what I've been playing now is of course Horizon Forbidden West.
Ooh,
oh my gosh, it's so pretty. I can't get over how quickly everything loads. I heard a rumor that they actually had to force those, like when you like fast travel and stuff, like those loading times, like they slowed it down because they're like, you can't read the tips. And I'm like, why did you do that? You did not need to do that. You could just make it immediately. But it's like, it's still like essentially immediate. It's crazy to me.
That's cool.
PS5 is nuts. Like, there's just no loading.
Yeah, because I think that was built in with PS4 in mind first, and then they just took it up a notch for next gen. So they had to be like, okay, let's slow down the loading screen a little bit.
It's been a while since I played the first game, but I'm pretty sure I was kind of getting annoyed with how long things were loading in the first game on my PS4.
Well, yeah, because every time you die, I believe, right?
Huh?
Every time you die, it would have to load, I think.
Yeah, so, but no, it's so nice. Everything is so pretty, and it's fun. I'm sort of still kind of getting used to the controls. I feel like there's so many different things you could do. There's so many weapons you can equip. There's so many different types of things you could do. They've added movement options, which is really exciting. I always think, movement options in open world games makes things better. And that's obviously evident in like Pokemon Legends, even like you get those mounts, essentially.
Oh yeah, the mounts are like a bigger thing in the sequel now, huh?
Yeah. So, I'm not very far. I've been playing a lot for sure, but I don't think I'm very far in the grand scheme of the entire game, but I'm having a really good time so far. Yeah. I don't want to like spoil anything, but I think what's cool so far is that, again, I've only played a little bit, but I feel like they added a bunch of new stuff, but they also have they kept a bunch of mechanics and things from the first game, and they've just kind of improved it a little bit, like crafting and things like that. Like, there's just, like, more mechanics that actually improve on stuff that was already kind of a thing in the first game, which I really appreciate, because I'm like, that's how you should do a sequel, right? You should have the same stuff from the first game,
like,
but update it.
Don't fix it if it's not broken, kind of a thing.
Exactly. Right. Like, make it better if you can, and that's what they did. So it's like, I'm incredibly impressed with the game so far. I don't really have anything bad to say about it, other than I'm not very good at it. To be fair, like, I'm still kind of like, I actually need to be really careful when stealthing. I need to, like, do this and that. And
that's what I loved and hated about that game is, like, it was fun to actually take those things down when you did, but when you're trying to get from A to B or whatever, it's so like, oh my gosh, I got spotted. Like, I gotta fight these things now.
Exactly. But, it keeps the threat real, I guess.
I loved that first game so much. I think I got all the weapons. I didn't platinum it or anything, but yeah. I really, got all the secret weapons and all those things.
Yeah, and, cool. Even, I just remember, I recommended the original game to one of my friends, not super long after I'd finished the game. I remember his main complaint was that there was too much stuff, too much UI. Like, there was just too much stuff covering the screen. And I remember thinking back, I was like, oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of, you got the bottom left corner where you can, change what's, in your hand, but then you also, have, the tracker, not mini-map, but, the tracker up top, and then you also have what item you're, weapon you're equipped. And it's, there were a lot of things on the screen, but I love this game because they actually strip it back, and they did the same thing as, with Ghost of Tsushima, where it's, if you need direction, if you need a reminder of what you actually have equipped, if you need a reminder of, what quest you're on, you could do, you could flick up on the controller, and it'll give you that information.
Yeah, so, the whole, you're supposed to go this direction, with
exactly kind of thing. It's it's sort of a sometimes I'm just okay, wait, what quest do I have equipped active again, or what? what things am I grabbing, or like what weapon do I have right now, like what I just need a reminder. You literally just flip up, it'll tell you that information, and it just stays there for like 5 seconds and it goes away again. And so it's like most of the game, which is perfect because like you're not going to be in combat most of the game. Just straight up, you're not. You're going to be, unless you're like fiending for going after the story constantly or just always going in fights, which is fair. I mean, people won't play with that. That's fine. But I feel like most players like me are going to be exploring and running around a lot, and also just taking in how like pretty the game is in general. And so I think that was a really, really smart move, because there's only 2 things on the screen, and it's that tracker at the top, which is barely like in the way. It's barely in the way at all. And then you have like just your items in the bottom left corner, and that's it. And it's like that's nice because it's just like, oh, it feels like a UI-less design, even though you can just always pull up the UI.
You should try taking some photos, is what you should do.
Oh my gosh, I haven't yet, but I also heard that apparently they have like an enhanced photo mode in the digital deluxe version. I don't know.
It's
what
probably
that
some
entails.
Extra features or something like.
I think so.
Sometimes it's like an extra frame or an extra like gradient or something, or like an extra filter.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I did the thing where I got the PS4 version and then upgrade to PS5.
I think everybody did.
$10.
Yeah.
Because why wouldn't you? Like, it just seems so. I didn't know if it would even work. Yeah, I was kind of just like, this seems too good to be
true. What does
true.
that process look like? Can you buy it? Do you have to download it on your PS4 before you send it over?
So
or
what you have to do, or at least what I did, is you can't just buy the PS4 version on the console. You have to use like the app, or like you have to go on the website separately to get the PS4 version. You get that installed on your...
That was a little funky with Horizon specifically, from what I heard.
Yeah.
So it does have to install on your PS4?
You just... No, I installed on my PS5. I didn't touch my PS4.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And so I don't even know if you absolutely had to have it installed. I did install the PS4 version.
Yeah.
Because I had enough space. Because that's the thing. Some people are like, oh, I don't have enough space to even do that. So, like, that's something to consider, I guess. But I had enough space.
I definitely do.
And then what I did was, after that was installed, and the game was out, because it was, like, right after the game came out. I went to the game store, and it said that I had the free upgrade. And I could install the free upgrade, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
And just for temporarily, I had, like, those 2 different copies, which is, like, actually happens all the time if you have a bunch of PS4 games that you're transferring to PS5. Like, I remember it happened to me with Spider-Man and even the original Horizon, I believe. And I just deleted the old one and kept the new one.
Yeah, so the thing they used to do was it would download both, but now it doesn't do that, which is nice.
Yeah.
But the thing you got to remember when doing those free upgrades, you can't preload them most of the time. So what you have to do is, like, you can pre-order like the PS4 version or whatever, but you actually have to wait until like launch to actually download the free upgrade for the PS5 most of the time.
Yeah.
With Dying Light, it was actually the reverse for me. It's like when I had the PS5 version, and it's like, oh, like we got this email. It's like, oh, you can download the PS4 version now. I'm like, well, why would I want to do that? But yeah, that's stuff with Horizon has been very weird. And then I think about like Ghost of Tsushima, which that was like a whole like $30 upgrade, and I was just like, I don't know. I mean, it sounds like now they have a format, but it doesn't sound like they had one for a while, which Horizon caused debate for that for sure.
For sure. And it's just weird because it's one of those things where it's like, none of this would have happened. There wouldn't be any confusion if both games were $60. If PS4 and PS5 were both $60. But it's kind of proven. It's like, there's kind of no reason for it to be $70 on PS5 because there's nothing like, like there's just no reason. So it's just kind of ridiculous.
And the only people who are doing that are like Sony, and then like big publishers like EA and Activision. Like, there's not a bunch of companies adopting that $70 thing. Like, it's only these. I mean,
the other thing they could have done, and probably a good thing they didn't, was they could have made it $70 on the PS4 too, and just been like, it costs as much because of the development.
Yeah.
People would have been mad, but
it's just very interesting. But besides all that, because like I was like, oh, I don't need to play it literally frame 1. 9 p.m. on Thursday. I knew a lot of my friends were going to, so that's why they chose the PS5 version or the digital deluxe one, which is like, $80, right?
That's why I like to pre-order digital, because like everything comes out at like 11 o'clock, so I have like time. Night.
Yeah, so but I'm enjoying that game a lot. That's going to be my main game. Probably until it's finished. I don't really think this is going to be a game I'm going to get tired of halfway through like I did with Ghost. But we'll see.
I want it, but I'm going to wait because I know if I buy it, I will play it. And I'm really enjoying Days Gone.
That's good.
Those who don't know, I usually buy a game and then I just play it to death.
And then people with an addiction like myself just buy a new game every like week or so.
Yeah, I definitely play, but if I get a new game, then it's hard for me to go back to an old game.
Yeah.
So
I wish I had that superpower.
I'm really, really enjoying the story at this point. Some cool things happened that just kind of were actually surprising because most of the game has been very obvious. I don't know. I don't want to give too much away, but it's just like there's story beats that were like, well, obviously this is going to happen, and then it happens. And so some things, I'm trying not to give anything away. Some things happened that I was like, oh, that happened way sooner than I thought it would, or just happened differently than I thought it would. And so it's cool. I'm really, really enjoying it. But also kind of ready for it to be over. I was going to grind out some of the stuff to like basically the different camps. If you get their trust levels all the way up, then at the end of the game, they will join you for the final battle. I don't know what the final battle is. I just know that much information. That's been kind of a new game mechanic lately. You get everyone's trust and they help you in the end of the game.
Yeah.
But I was going to do that and I just got tired of it. My wife was like, move on with the story or you're not going to play this game anymore. I would just get tired of it. So I did. My wife just reminded me of something really cool. Okay, a couple weeks ago, I messaged you guys. I don't think I talked about it on the podcast, but there was kind of like a cool biblical moment in the game.
Oh yeah.
Let me look it up, and I forgot like what was said.
Probably got to scroll up a bit.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit. But recently there was another biblical moment that was cool, but also very much like. Not a cool Christian moment. Like it was just I don't know. Oh. So the first one, the one that I had messaged you guys, is like you're going after this other group and you say it's us versus them, and the like camp guy is like it's always us versus them. He said, and we're all going to hell until we realize that us is every bunch of curse words, soul breathing and walking around without crap in our pants. Meaning like it's us versus the zombies. We need to work together. And it was just a really cool, like,
you can literally write a Geeks Under Grace Christian Living article just off of that one sentence.
Yeah, like that sermon writes itself.
Yeah.
I love that.
It was a really, really cool moment. And so now I'm with this other character who is very fire and brimstone.
Okay.
But he's like, and he's all about like God's wrath, and that's why the freakers are here. The freakers are the zombies. But he like misquotes the Bible.
Oh wow!
And, like, in a way that like someone who doesn't know the Bible very well wouldn't have like caught. So he does two things, and so I thought it was a typo. It's something like super common. He says they're talking about this ark, and he goes, Noah's Ark. Something.
Yeah.
Nobody really reads Revelations though. And I was Revelations. I was like, it's Revelation. So they must have just typoed that out.
No, I think it's a commonly missed thing. People refer to it as Revelations most of the time.
Yeah.
That's very common.
So I was like, oh, they messed this up. And then he keeps going, and he was like, your main character goes, actually, it's Genesis, sir. The Ark of Noah's Ark story is in Genesis.
That's awesome.
I was like, oh, cool.
I think when games just kind of like you think they're like, they don't really know what they're talking about, and then they throw something at you like that.
You're just like,
yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Like, I respect.
Mm-hmm. It's really interesting because your character is very much this biker guy.
Yeah.
He was like ex-military. He's even asked, like, the character asked you if you believe in God, and you're like, I don't really give him much thought, sir. So I would be interested to know how much Christian backstory Deacon St. John has. Just because there's another point where he says, he was like, oh, they won't let me listen to music. Something about he's like his Mennonite, BS. And so he goes, Mennonites don't hate music. They have a thing about dancing. It's like he knows a lot about different
cool.
Christian faiths and stuff.
I like that.
Yeah.
Maybe
but I don't know. It was cool.
Maybe like he grew up in the church. Maybe his parents were like Catholic or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would love to know more about that, but I'm sure we won't get anything.
The classic, my parents were Catholic and I left the faith kind of a thing.
Right.
Not that I'm taking a jab at Catholics. It's just that seems to be the trend.
Stereotype.
Yeah, the stereotype. Yeah.
But I don't know. Just the little, I guess, nods to faith in this has been really, really cool. Yeah. So, two sides of the coin, though. Because I think the other one where he's, it's us versus them. Mm-hmm. Us is everyone who's breathing. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of, in Christianity, not to get super preachy on the podcast, but, like, in Christianity, sometimes we can kind of say, like, anyone that's not a Christian, like, that's the target. We're going after them. And it's not, like, people that aren't Christian aren't enemies. They're the ones we're trying to save. So, yeah.
I love it. We are the Geeks Under Grace podcast, after all, so...
Yeah, you gotta get it in there every once in a while.
Yeah.
But super, super cool stuff. I'm excited to finish the story out, because I don't really know what's gonna happen anymore. They're throwing me through for some loops.
Cool.
Yeah. We can get into the gaming news, though, because that's all I've been playing.
Speaking of throwing people for a loop, that is happening a bit in gaming news this week. So this past week, all of a sudden, CD Projekt Red decided, hey, you remember that Cyberpunk next-gen version y'all have been waiting for? Yeah. It's here. It's here now. Go download it. So... I find it I was interested to be like, okay, like let's check this out, because I do own it on Xbox, and I booted it up because last time I did play it there was some significant issues. Like I was in a mission where I was spawning in the driver's seat of a vehicle in a story mission in which I was supposed to be the passenger of. So it's just weird things like that were happening obviously before. And now I've played the next-gen upgrade, and it runs pretty dang solid. It runs pretty smooth. Like, it loads, like, super nicely. Like, the main menu, like, the first initial load time was kind of messy, but it runs nice. It's, like, I'm sure it still has little quirks and things, but, like, overall there's improvements, like, improved AI, like, spawning in crowds and stuff like that. Like, there's legit stuff that they did to this thing. So for those of you who have gotten a hold of next-gen consoles now and probably still have a copy of Cyberpunk somewhere, and if you're okay with playing something like that, go check it out and see what you think. I think it's fun to jump back in. I'll probably try to finish it now that it's a better experience. The caveat though is that I've heard that people who are, obviously the original PS4 version ran like garbage anyway. But I guess that patch also partially came to previous next-gen consoles, and it literally broke the base PS4 version. So if you have a base PS4, just don't bother playing Cyberpunk. But it makes you think they should have just waited for next-gen to come out anyway before really finishing it.
Releasing it, yeah.
Yeah, because it was in that time where it's like, oh well, we got to make it work for everything, and obviously it didn't. So, yeah, it's worth checking into if you have a next-gen version, or if you have a next-gen console now. Yeah. Let's see, and then the next piece of news. Nobody was really surprised that we got a Street Fighter 6 reveal. Capcom had this countdown last week, and they're like, oh, in 6 days.
6 days.
Well, not only that, but this weekend was the Capcom finals, the final cup for Street Fighter 5. So it's
was that part glitch or was that separate?
I think it's its own thing. It's okay. Capcom's. They literally have their own Capcom cup.
There was a big fighting tournament that was this weekend that I know was not just. It was Smash, but it was also.
Oh, nice.
It also had Street Fighter. It also had other fighting games. I wasn't sure.
I think Street Fighter was a part of that because what they do is they do a tour thing where it's Capcom Cup is at Evo this time or whatever.
Yeah.
they'll do it around the combo breaker and stuff like that. So yeah, we got the reveal after the final match, and it didn't show much. It showed the new guy who looks different. They released a DLC character, like the very last character for 5, and said, hey, this is going to be the guy. This is like going to give you a taste of what 6 is going to be like. And so they showed him in the trailer, and they showed Reaves. Reaves like big and buff, and
So
he's like
beefy.
the bearded version. And then
Literally looks like the Hulk.
yeah, well, the meme was like, hey everybody, we did get this is Resident Evil news, and they basically like photoshopped Chris's shirt onto him.
No
From Resident Evil. I was like, that's good.
I've seen so many memes of his face, like me when I walk out of the store with the PS5 in my mouth, like, because his jaw is so big.
I love that. Yeah, so the thing that excites me, so they didn't show much, but if this is going to be on the re-engine, if this is going to be on the engine that like Resident Evil is on, Devil May Cry 5 is on,
right.
Monster Hunter Rise is on, like, they better make it look pretty, like, because Street Fighter 5 kind of went off of the Street Fighter 4 style, where it was like, actually it was even less so, because Street Fighter 4 had some of like that Japanese inky art going with it, but Street Fighter 5 was like, you know, it was very 3D, like silly looking, very exaggerated, which that's still going to be there obviously, but it better be like a real good looking game, I think, if they're using that engine, because they could push that engine to its limits for a fighting game. So yeah, more news on that summer this year. So it was news about news, and I imagine they said summer, so I bet you around Evo we'll probably learn some more about it, since Evo's in the summer. But yeah, we'll see. The other thing I personally liked was they announced a Capcom fighting game collection with this news, which was like one of the many Street Fighter. It included like one of the many Street Fighter 2 ports.
It was like a Street Fighter 2 in there?
Yeah, and then Pocket Fighter, which is like basically like little chibi versions. Puzzle Fighter, which is basically like a puzzle game, but it's literally like a fighting game, like Street Fighter setup when you battle against other people. And then a bunch of like releases for Darkstalkers, which is like a horror themed like fighting game. And I love that fighting game, so I'm like, yes, like, give people a modern way to play this and see if it does well, then we'll get a new Darkstalkers game. Because that's basically like, it's got like like vampire style characters. That's where Morrigan is from in like Marvel vs. Capcom. She's like a succubus. They have a vampire named Dimitri. They have a werewolf character. Like they have a Frankenstein character, like a zombie one. But yeah, so I'm excited about that collection, because I'm like, yeah, just give me more ways to play Darkstalkers on my Switch or whatever. So, yeah, so that's my ultra geeking out done for probably the rest of the night. But I'm just like, I could talk about that forever. And then the third piece of news, which is probably more relevant to a lot of people. Pokemon Day is happening on the 27th again, and they haven't specifically said, but apparently this week, I mean, we'll be 3 days into the week by the time people listen to this, but there's going to be like little bits and pieces of news, which I think there was like a diagram or some kind of thing I saw, which there's probably going to be a piece related to Pokemon Go. There's probably going to be something related to Pokemon Unite. There's probably going to be something related to like one of the games. Like I'm sure there's going to be like.
Do you think it'll just be games, or do you think it'll be movies and TV and stuff?
From I don't know if what I saw. I don't remember where I saw it, but it was basically like, you know, here's the thing that it's going to be related to on this day. So like I think I saw something about like, what's the Pokemon mobile game, like Master or something? Pokemon Masters.
Oh, I think it's Masters.
Yeah. So I think like
Sounds right.
It's probably going to be game related. I mean, I would hope there's more to it. Like, so Pokemon Day is like, that better be a big thing. Like, that's where they got to let it go. Like, that's where they need to like put the big news. But like, it seems like they're just going to give us little nuggets of like, maybe like, hey, here's this Pokemon coming to like Pokemon Unite or something. So I think like the days leading up to it is probably not going to be that interesting. But like actual Pokemon Day, we'll probably get something cool, hopefully. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on in gaming. So Pokemon fans have more to look forward to on the 27th.
Pokemon Day. I'm almost looking more forward to whatever Persona 25th anniversary stuff actually going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know when the literal 25th anniversary is, but they haven't done anything for it yet. I'm like, that's what I'm kind of even more looking forward to than like Pokemon Day. But
I'm so excited for Arena Ultimax to come out next month. That's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah. Yes, that'll be a good time.
Also, I'm reminded I need to finish Persona 5. I need to get on that so I can play Strikers.
Do it. Strikers is so fun. I mean, Persona 5 is also amazing. I'm just saying. They're both very fun and they're very different games. So
yeah. Anyway, we can move on to the movie news.
Cool. Well, what movies we've been watching, if we've seen the movies.
I've seen movies. I
watched... Yeah.
Go ahead. You go first, Shelley.
Oh,
yeah, go for it, Shelley.
I didn't
watch any new movies. I just watched National Treasure for kind of the meme.
Because it's a national treasure?
Actually, wait, okay.
Because Nicolas Cage is a national treasure?
That's a lie. I watched 2 movies. I forgot. I did watch Night at the Museum.
Oh, nice.
Oh my gosh, and I also watched Narnia. Okay, I forgot. I watched all these movies that are like kind of nostalgic, low-key for me. Like The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. It's crazy because it's like National Treasure was way funnier than I remember. Like, I think I took it so seriously as a kid, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this could happen. But now watching it, I'm just like, this is hilarious, and Nicolas Cage is hilarious, and also him and the female lead literally have no chemistry at all. It's so weird. So that was my reaction out of that. Again, because none of these are new movies to me. Night at the Museum's funny because the theme sounds just like Spider-Man PS4. So if you're listening to this, if you've played Spider-Man PS4, please look up the main theme for Night at the Museum. It's essentially the same theme. Sounds very, very similar.
Hot take, the music in the original Spider-Man PS4 isn't even that good to me. Like, it's not, most of it sounds like just generic, like, Avengers MCU music.
It is, well, that's the thing, though. So that's why you might think it's funny how Night at the Museum, it's, like, essentially the same theme, because it's also kind of general. It's, like, the same instruments, and it's very, I don't know, it's really funny to me.
Like, at least with Miles, they had to throw a little hip-hop into it, you know, like, but...
Oh, absolutely.
I literally turned off the soundtrack in the first Spider-Man game and just listened to my own playlist. And of, like, all the other movies' music instead of that music.
Yeah, that's funny.
But, anyway...
But yeah, there's that. Then watching Narnia, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe again. I feel like, on one hand, watching it, I'm just like, oh, this child acting isn't actually amazing. But on the other hand, I feel like I actually am appreciating a lot of stuff from the movie way more. I don't know how to explain it. It's just like I liked it even more than I used to, which is crazy because I already really liked that movie. But it's been like years since I've seen it. And so I think just like... watching it again, I was kind of just like, oh my gosh, like this really is just so good. Like,
I still have never seen Voyage of the Dawn Treader, just because I feel like that would, I don't know, like I felt like there's been no reason to watch it.
I don't know if you've ever read the book. It's nothing like the book. I haven't even read the book. I've just heard that like, it's just, of all the books to become movies in that series, Voyage of the Dawn Treader is like the worst one, essentially, except for maybe the first book, because the first book is essentially like the origin of Narnia and its creation.
I just need to read the books is what I need to do.
I guess. I haven't even read the books. I know. I just watched the movies, which is stupid. So that's why it's like, I actually like Voyage of the Dawn Treader, but I very much can understand that's very different than the books. So anyway, that's, I just, took a little bit of a nostalgia trip the last week or two, watching really weird, random, not amazing movies, but they're fine. And Narnia is a little bit better than both the other two, I would say. They all start with N. I just realized that too. I don't know why.
That's funny.
But we can continue. That's all I have to say about it.
All right, LJ.
Okay. So the big one I watched. I had choices here, and yet I went to see this movie. I could have seen Death on the Nile, but I went to see this movie. I watched Uncharted.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm just like, let me go give it a shot. Like, I know it's like, I went with very low expectations. What I will say is that Tom Holland and the girl that plays Chloe, they actually grew on me in their roles. Like, I'm like, okay, this isn't Nolan North Nate. I just had to kind of get comfortable with that. I'm like, to me, this isn't even the same Nathan Drake. It's really not. Yeah. The thing that I still feel like was a swing and a miss was Mark Wahlberg as Sully. I feel like that is the biggest crime that this movie committed, because he has
I
lines.
think I read somewhere that he was wanting to be Nathan Drake.
Well, yeah, he was originally like supposed to be Nathan Drake when the movie got pitched initially. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he literally has lines where I'm like, bro, you're like, I know you're not like a spring chicken anymore, but also, bro, you're not that old. Like, you know, like I think there was a line where he's like, oh, I got a bad ankle or something, and I'm just like, really? And then like I'm like, dude, you're fit, like, you know, like, and then then there was another line where he's like, oh, I don't have my glasses. And I'm just like, bro, like, come on. Like, you know, like, and so I'm just like, man, like, that was such a missed opportunity. Like, I feel like they could have had a different actor. I think maybe there was probably just something that kept Mark Wahlberg attached to that movie somehow. I don't know if it was some kind of deal or not a contract per se, but there had to have been something there.
Something, for sure.
Yeah. Like, and in my head, I'm thinking he could have just played Nathan. He could have just played Sam. He could have just played Nate's brother, like, easily.
Who would you have had cast for him?
I mean, what comes to mind is like a Tom Selleck kind of thing.
Okay.
Like, definitely an older actor, like, for sure.
Bruce Campbell.
Okay, that I could see. I would be okay. I could see that. I would be down for that because he's old enough to where, like, yeah, I could see that, and especially like just how not in shape he is anymore. Like, yeah, okay, I could see he probably does have a bad ankle. His eyes probably are getting bad, you know, at his age, you know, like, yeah. So like, okay, like, yeah,
Tom Selleck works too. I could see that.
I actually, I do like Bruce Campbell. I mean, obviously he wouldn't have the mustache thing, but whatever. But yeah, I can see that. What I do like is what they are doing with this movie, and if they do go forward with another one, which the way things go, it's like, yeah, they could go. What I feel like they're doing is they're correcting what happened with Uncharted 4. Because Uncharted 4, it's like all of a sudden, it's like after 3 games, it's like, oh, Nate has a brother? Okay. So they're like kind of moving some stuff from 4 like forward to the front as if it's like, okay, this is the first movie, and it is kind of an origin story like they said it was going to be, kind of. Like, it's still its own movie, and I feel like aside, like, if it didn't have Mark Wahlberg in it, I think it would be a better movie, but it's also not entirely terrible like I expected it to be. Like, it's fun. Like, it's literally just like, it's a popcorn movie. Like, that's what you should go in expecting. Yeah. Cool. So it's not terrible, but I'm not going to say you should run out and watch it either. Like, if you got $4 or $5 to spare when it shows up on Vudu or something,
how'd you compare it with like Tomb Raider?
So actually, that's a good point. I actually feel like it's more memorable than Tomb Raider.
Okay. This was a PlayStation Studios movie too, right?
So, and that's what blows my mind. It's like PlayStation let this happen because it's their studio. You know, it's like they were okay with this. They were like,
I think it's the first one they've made out of the studio thing.
Yeah.
So that's weird.
And so they did. They revealed like, oh, here's our fancy new like logo at the like, you know, thing at the beginning. But honestly, it's like I only saw Tomb Raider once and I barely remember any of it. But like this one, it's like I could see myself watching again just because like Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg together aren't really that bad, but it's just not like Nate. It's not Nate and Sully, you know, like it's just not. So I think you have to take yourself out of the idea of it being an accurate thing. Because it's just going to do its own thing. And there were some lines that they delivered where I'm like, okay, I could see Nate saying that, or I could see Sully saying that, you know, which is why I felt Mark Wahlberg was a crime. But yeah, like it wasn't that bad. Like Tomb Raider is not memorable at all. Like I wouldn't even bother watching that movie. But I could see myself showing this movie to like my mom or my stepdad and being like, hey, like you guys might like this because you have no context. So yeah, I feel like it's going to be one of those things where a casual audience will enjoy it, which it was a news piece that we were going to do at one point, right? Is like it's actually doing well. So yeah, that's my thoughts about Uncharted. So, and then the other movie I watched but I didn't finish that I liked, I just watched it super late, but I did watch The King's Man, which is on Hulu and HBO Max now. So
Oh, okay, cool.
for people that like those movies, I think it's worth a watch so far. I haven't finished it, but I liked what I saw. So that's it. That's it for me.
Cool. I didn't watch any movies, so we can get into the movie news.
All right.
Awesome. We have a couple things here.
Go ahead,
Yeah, so we have a couple things here. So, first of all, just kind of want to mention, we talked about the Batman quite a few times here with Robert Pattinson. Just some interesting, tidbit. Sort of Matt Reaves, the director, supposedly he's not really passionate about rushing into a sequel, which I think that's kind of a really good sign. It's not like we won't have a sequel. It's not absolutely we'll have a sequel. It's let's just pay attention to the Batman. Then a sequel can come later if we really want to, but let's not rush into it. So I think that's, I don't know, overall a good sign. I just feel like rushing into a sequel, but also just not considering sequels at all is a little bit worse. I feel like it's usually kind of best if it's they're open to sequels. But
I think it's cool he feels that way, but is Warner Brothers going to feel that way?
Right.
Absolutely not. I agree.
Like the Joker movie doesn't need a sequel, but the money made them go, we need a sequel.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
But it's still better to consider it when you're making a movie, especially for a company like Warner Bros. So you can at least plan ahead and kind of make connections even in that original movie, or Job Seekers or something that may or may not be picked up in a sequel, right? Like you don't have to, have a sequel for it to be good, but then if you do have a sequel, it doesn't come out of nowhere. Like there's some movies where it's so obvious that they intended it to just be one movie, which is great, and I fully respect that. But yeah, Warner Bros., Batman, DCEU. I don't even think this is DCEU. What is DCEU anymore? I really do not know. But I do know that they love Batman and the world of Batman and DC. And yeah, probably they're gonna milk it for all it's worth. So if he's willing to be at least again, just have the willingness to consider a sequel, that's going to make both those movies better probably, if there is a sequel.
mean, shoot, we got the Gotham PD thing coming out or whatever, which feels weird to say because we already had a Gotham show. So
I don't understand them, but I'm still hoping the movie's good. I don't know. I'm been so burned by DC movies and stuff. It's just okay, cool, we got Wonder Woman, that was good. Second one was trash, and now I'm just okay, now I just don't care about DC movies anymore. They're all bad. Yeah, hopefully this changes that, but that's just how I feel so far. But anyway, that's definitely the smallest sort of news piece from the movies that we have going here. Netflix is going to make a Bioshock movie. I think that's pretty significant. We don't know too much about it, but Bioshock.
They've been trying to get a movie off the ground forever. I'm excited for it, but nobody likes.
Bioshock.
Oh, the Bioshock
I don't even know if it's
so
the type
good.
of I can understand that if it's I feel like it would be one of those things that would be really good if it was here's a movie based on the Bioshock world or based within the Bioshock world that isn't necessarily just the first Bioshock game.
They could totally just do a movie about life in Rapture. That'd be nuts.
Yeah, I don't know what they'll do. I don't know. I feel like I always think that's what they're going to do, then they never do it. They actually literally just do the plot from the first game.
Yeah. Gosh, a show would be really good for this. Because then they could do I've never seen it, but they could do a Chernobyl thing and make it be about the fall of Rapture or something. I think
that'd be cool.
There's so much they could do that doesn't have to be the video game. But yeah, I'm excited.
I assume it'll be very horror-esque.
Oh yes, the only thing I'm excited about, I think, is I just want to see a Big Daddy and Little Sister in live action. I think that's what I really want to see.
That'd be neat.
And I want to see those the special effects on those plasmids and those powers too. So that's kind of what I'm excited for. I'm excited about the aesthetic, but not necessarily to see what they're going to do with the plot.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a good explanation. So, because it is really such an interesting setting.
It's very heavy.
So I hope that they do just go focus on the setting and maybe do a different story, or if they are going to do the plot, maybe make it good for a movie, because I feel like
even Bioshock 2 would almost make a better plot for a show or a movie than the first game, I think. Or, I mean, I guess... Oh, see, then they could do Infinite, but I feel like before they get into Infinite, they have to do Rapture. They have to do like, the OG Bioshock.
I feel like you need some of that context, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so that's the thing for you Bioshock lovers out there. I know there's a lot of them. We're talking so many video game movies. You know, talking about Uncharted and now Bioshock.
Yeah.
And also, kind of to continue that, Paramount just announced a bunch of stuff that includes TV. We'll talk about in the TV portion, but at least for movies, they did announce Sonic 3. With Knuckles.
Woot.
So that's cool.
And Knuckles.
Yeah, and Knuckles.
That's for later.
Yeah, but still, it's just like, Sonic 3 and Knuckles. So that's cool. Again, everyone loves kind of the original Sonic movie. We'll see about the second Sonic movie. It looks really good. I'm hoping it's still good. But they're obviously very confident in it because they're having another movie and, again, like shows and stuff that we're going to talk about a little bit later. But besides that, there's also some Star Trek movies that they're talking about in the works as well. So Paramount really they just announced a bunch of stuff that also is pretty exciting. I mean, like, I like Star Trek too, so...
I think they even brought up the Transformers movie again. Like, there's going to be, like, a Beast Wars themed one.
Yeah, we got a poster of Optimus Prime
was that poster real? Because I was thinking, like...
I thought so.
I didn't know if it was.
Quoting. It's called Beast Wars, right?
Well, it's Transformers something. I don't really know.
Transformers. Oh no, Rise of the Beast.
Oh, there you go. I think it's called Rise of the Beast.
Poster.
The tagline on that poster better be
fan
Beast.
Poster.
The tagline for that movie better be Beast Mode. It literally, like, they should literally just use the hashtag Beast Mode for their movie.
I can't tell. Okay.
I wouldn't know. I didn't see it.
I'm finding that on DeviantArt, so I'm assuming.
Transformers.
Ew.
I don't know if DeviantArt's like, that's not a source.
No.
It's not a source.
Well,
it's a source for some things. But not news.
I wanted that to be real. Oh no.
That's what I'm saying.
Nothing but the truth here at the Geeks Under Grace podcast.
Bro,
every once in a while something slips. I'm glad you caught that. There is a poster. It's just a logo.
Like Street Fighter.
According to Movie Insider.
I guess Street Fighter actually had a small teaser. But either way. That's our movie news, though. I mean, nothing crazy to really talk about. It's more just like news and speculation and things like that. So we can talk about TV.
Okay.
Cool.
Yes. Poster's not real, but there are pictures of the cars.
That poster is really cool, though.
Cars.
It's cooler than that Mass Effect poster that, like...
That was fun. It's like an old, I guess it would be 90s, 80s? It's like the old school Optimus Prime, like flat front truck.
They're probably going to go for that because the Bumblebee thing, you know? Like, they're probably going to go back to...
Bumblebee looks like a 90s Camaro.
Yeah, I was going to say they're probably going to do, because I guess people probably liked that retro-looking style.
Yeah,
they're probably just
going to... Bug.
Yeah.
It's cool. It doesn't make sense. I don't understand Transformers.
I don't know where the heck that...
online anymore.
Yeah, me neither.
But cool stuff. Okay, TV. LJ, we finished Peacemaker.
Yes.
How's that?
One of the greatest superhero shows.
To me, there's something wrong. Like, well, I don't know if I should say wrong, but there's something really off when I think HBO Max Peacemaker show turned out to be the better show than Boba Fett. Like, honestly, like, Boba Fett had the last few good episodes, but that wasn't because of Boba Fett. That was just because of Star Wars. Like,
James Gunn knows what he's doing.
Oh my gosh. And the show's so good. Like, they make you feel for the character. Like, there's a reason for everything. It's like I've been saying, that show has a lot of heart. I mean, it's still vulgar and messy and, like, adult, but...
one thing I will say, and I don't want anyone to read into this as, like, who's seen the episode and think that I am agreeing or disagreeing with what was said, but they get this, like, weird political commentary for a minute that just seemed completely left field from what was going on. it was such a weird thing.
I'd have to ask you off air what you mean, because I'm not sure, to be honest.
Okay. It was just really weird, and like it almost felt like they kind of were like, oh, we got to get this in somewhere, and threw it into the dialogue, which was odd, but especially for this show that has been just been silly and goofy, and it's either been like great character development or complete off the wall comedy.
See, to me, that's what makes Rick and Morty a good show, is that show goes way too far, but then it goes so like existential and deep that it's just like, wow, like I love that range, and I think that's what I like about Peacemaker as well. Like that show has range.
Yeah. I think of like Scrubs of all things. Scrubs was such a funny show, but would like just hit home every single episode.
Yeah, it had
it kind of created that groundwork.
Yeah.
And then other shows, like they've just kind of taken that to more extremes. It's really cool to see. I mean, it takes a lot of artistic talent to be able to make you laugh and then like bring it back, pull it back for a minute. And
absolutely, that's super hard to do. Like the balance of, oh, this is funny and entertaining, but also like it has heart, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It has like, you're actually getting something from watching it versus just like watching, I don't know, literally just comedy that has no meaning, you know? It's hard. That's a hard balance to find.
And then to like take that tension and make you laugh again with it. There's a joke I think is a really easy one, to not spoil anything, is like Peacemaker crying. And he's like, it's face exercises. He's like, it's brought up later on. He's like crying, and it's a really somber moment.
Yeah.
And the dude's like, this is a weird time for you to be practicing your face exercises.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
but it just like, you had this like, they create such tension, and they're like, but it's
deep.
okay to laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool show. I really enjoyed it. It is very rated M for mature.
Yep.
And James Gunn went all out with that rating, unfortunately.
And they've already renewed it for a season 2.
Season 2, yes.
Which slightly scares me, but also I want more. Like I'm like,
James Gunn is going to write and direct the entire next season. I read that today.
Yeah, because I heard, I think I heard somewhere that like after Guardians 3, he's going back to work on that.
Yeah.
Like he's just going to focus on that, which
I
think is
crazy. Cool. I love that they were able to take a character that nobody knew and making this big phenomenon. But I mean, that's what James Gunn did with Guardians too. Guardians of the Galaxy. Not a lot of people knew what was going on when that first movie came out, and now everyone knows who Groot is.
Yeah.
And it's just cool. I don't know. We can't really give up much more than that, but I definitely
also
depending
when Shelley said like, "What is the DCEU even anymore?" I totally feel that. Like even with this show, like I have no idea what the heck.
Because like, at least with like Marvel, there's so much content, but at least you're incredibly aware. Like, oh yeah, this is all still connected, even if it's not evident. Like they still make it clear. But like with DC, I just don't know. I don't really care.
I think given some really cool cameos in Peacemaker, that I think the Flash point paradox or whatever it is, I think it's just called Flashpoint.
That's going to be more important than we think, huh?
I think that movie is going to completely rewrite everything to whatever they want.
I mean, that's what they did with like the animated stuff. Like the animated stuff was because Flash changed it, you know, like
yeah.
So I think if they want to follow suit with the live action stuff, they should.
My thing is like, do they have a plan yet? Because it doesn't feel like they have a plan.
I know.
Yet.
Well, that's even with like the whole it's one of those things where it's like it reminds me of the Shazam like cameo, where it's like, okay, like that's cool, but like what does that mean? You know, like
right. I don't think they knew at that point. I think once we get Flashpoint, maybe
I feel like now
they'll either reset everything and have it be a core like system going, or they're gonna be like, we're doing whatever we want. We don't care anymore.
Just because Peacemaker was good and Suicide Squad was good, I'm not ready to put that much faith into DC yet in their extended universe. Like I don't know. Like
I wouldn't be surprised if Warner Bros. Just decides to have like 2 different Justice League movies come out a year apart, and one of them has like Barry Allen from the Flash TV show and Robert Pattinson's Batman, and the other one still has Ben Affleck or Kevin Costner or someone.
You're right.
Oh wow.
Like, they're just going to do whatever they want.
Yeah,
hopefully they have a system, and that's not what's happening.
It could very well be a mess. Like, I mean, it still kind of is a mess right now, but, like...
I hope they're using it to fix the problem and not just say, the problem isn't a problem anymore, we're going to do what we want.
Yeah.
Flashpoint says we can do anything now. That's hopefully not the case.
Right.
But yeah, Peacemaker's great. Moral of the story.
Yeah.
I've also been watching more Vox Machina. I kind of stand on my opinions on that one.
Does it
that I had
get worth watching at all, or not really?
The story's super interesting right now.
Oh, okay.
There's a character, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He's the gunslinger in the show. And so it's kind of following his backstory right now.
Oh, okay.
And I said this last time. I really don't think if you don't play Dungeons & Dragons, I don't think the show would be very interesting.
See, just you saying that is a very D&D thing to happen. It's like one session we may go into somebody's backstory. You know, like
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say.
I was just gonna say everything.
my D&D friends who are watching it, because we haven't seen it yet, and granted, most of them, not all of them, are like super in a critical role, but they've said like many times, like, you know, Shelley, Daniel, you guys need to watch it because it reminds me of Daniel's DMing, like it reminds us of our campaign. And I'm just
that's
like,
awesome.
Oh, that's cool. Just like in the DMing style, not even necessarily with like plot stuff that goes on. So I'm like interested to see kind of what that looks like.
I'm still doing a thing where I'll watch the show and I will point something out and be like, they rolled for this.
Yeah.
Like it just, and what's crazy is like I watched a side-by-side comparison. I mentioned that last time. And the stuff that you see in the show is not exactly what's happening in the actual campaign. They kind of shorten things. But, like, they still write it in a way where it was like, I know the party rolled for that. Like, it's just something that they pass or failed. Because everything happens in very much like a pass or fail way, I guess.
Yeah. But, like, to be fair,
it's super cool.
I will watch regular media. I'll watch regular movies and TV shows, and something happens, and I'm like, oh, they rolled this on this. I do that in regular things that are
you'll
not
love
D&D
this
related.
show.
Like, I do that in Boba Fett. I do that in Star Wars. I do that in Lord of the Rings.
So
I do that all the time. So, really, it'll just feel...
You'll be ready. You'll be well prepared.
I'll be ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, another very mature show. And probably... This one, even Peacemaker, it kind of made sense. Like, it was very much what Peacemaker was. With Vox Machina, I think they could have gone for... like a TV-14 rating and been fine.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's not what the creators wanted to do with it.
It have the same value as Peacemaker. Like it really didn't. Like
yeah, there is a lot of stuff that like it could have been insinuated and not shown, and I think it would have gotten the same message across. In fact, some of the cursing with I can't remember the barbarian's name. He's a barbarian orc, but he curses all the time, and it's like it almost seems forced in a lot of ways.
That's the vibe I got from the whole, like, from the first, like, few minutes of that show. I was like, okay, that's what this is going to be. But anyway.
That's my only downside to it.
Cool.
But I'll hopefully be watching Walking Dead next week and get a little bit more.
Ooh, I'll be playing some Walking Dead. Saints and Sinners.
Yeah.
That's going to be good.
But go ahead, LJ. What, you also watched Reacher?
Yeah, so... This is one of those
Reacher,
things.
right?
Yeah, so this is awkward because, like, I was like, Reacher, isn't that Tom Cruise thing? And then it's one of those things where it's like, oh, well, that's actually based off of books.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so I was like, oh, cool. Like, I'm kind of glad I never watched those Tom Cruise movies because it makes me, like, appreciate this show really as the thing that should have been. I haven't watched a ton of episodes, but I love the main character. He's cool just because he's this big dude. Like, he's just like... I mean, obviously this is an adult show too, but he just walks up into a room and just controls the room just by his size. Like, literally the first few minutes of the show, he walks up to this, like, diner, and this couple walks outside, and this guy's being a jerk to his chick or whoever, and he just looks at the guy, and then he's like, "What are you looking at, dummy?" Whatever, and then Reacher just looks at him. He just glares at him, and then he just stops and he goes, "All right, man, it won't happen again." I'm just like, he just, like, I was like, dude, like, you don't even have to lift a finger, like, you know? And that's the way that character is too. Like before he talks his way out of everything before you even see him get in a fight, unless he has to get in a fight. Like there's this whole scene pretty early on, and he tells this prison guard who's like, wants to search him for stuff, and then he's like, "Oh no, you're not going to search me because it's unconstitutional." And then he's like, the only thing that's going to get up on me is your hand, and one of us isn't coming out of that. And he's like, one of us is coming out of that injured. So you might as well check off your box and move on. Like, I was just like, dang, like he just like says what he needs to say, and he just looks at stuff, and he's just like, he just knows, like, because he's, got that investigative skill, and he's been in like, he's just one of those military dudes, like Bourne was cool because it's like, oh, that dude can use like a weapon out of anything. This guy is cool because it's like he can defuse a whole situation without even having to lift a finger, and basically already read people just by like their mannerisms and things. And he's just like, that's what I love about him is he already knows the situation before when he walks into it without even having to get into a fight. And of course, there is the fighting, there is shooting and stuff, there's all that action. But I really like that actor too. Like I don't know that I've seen him in anything, but like. Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching more of that show. That's on Amazon Prime as well. So
cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
That sounds good. It's got he plays Hawk in Titans.
Oh, what? I didn't realize that was the same guy. I was like, well, no wonder I like him because I liked Hawk. Okay. Yeah. Oh wow, Titans I never even like thought of that. Yeah.
Well, and then I thought we had talked about Boba Fett finale already. We hadn't yet.
I don't remember.
I don't remember when the finale was. That's just the most recent show I watched.
Okay. I was like, I saw that and I'm like, maybe we haven't talked about the finale. I don't remember.
I don't remember. But also, do we need to talk about it at the same time? Because it just...
That's true.
...is fine. It's fine.
Like I said earlier, Boba Fett wasn't good because of Boba Fett. It was good because Star Wars. Like, that's like...
So unfortunate for Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel really bad for Boba Fett fans because they were done dirty.
It's like, nah, this character you thought you liked still sucks.
It's so weird because it's like, I even feel like Boba Fett's character in The Mandalorian when he shows up there. I'm just like, oh yeah, he's like doing stuff and he's cool, and they like they just set him up. They seem like they had his character figured out, and now since the Boba Fett show, it's almost like they just don't have his character figured out. It's really weird. Again, not to get
there
too
is
spoilery or
a
anything,
scene
but it's so strange
in the finale that is Fennec trying to navigate this like slowly, carefully. And I think that scene with Fennec should have been Boba Fett.
Yes, I know.
I don't understand why they don't don't they want to make Boba Fett cool? I don't get it.
No.
Like my favorite thing was in Mandalorian. I don't remember. I think it's a stormtrooper or like a. What are they called? What are the troopers called? Stormtrooper? Is that right?
Clone troopers or stormtroopers?
What's the second one?
Stormtroopers.
Stormtrooper. That's right. Okay. So like he comes up behind a stormtrooper like a horror movie like monster, and like takes him out in the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And like that to me, I was like, Boba Fett's awesome.
Yeah. It's.
And none of that. They never did that.
Strange. There's also again the finale. This is not going to spoil anything. But someone does a completely unnecessary spin. And I think ever since I noticed that, ever since someone pointed it out, I've kind of just, like, my entire rating of the show, like, went down a notch. Like, I don't even know what I would rate.
It looked like he was in a musical.
But I think I would rate it down just entirely because of that. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
I have so many questions to ask about the show.
It's so, because it's the same people that made Mandalorian, right? I mean, it's Dave Filoni and...
Well, here's the thing. It was a mix of directors.
Yeah, and then like Robert Rodriguez was like heading up the series itself.
Yeah, which I didn't.
Which should have made it cooler.
Yeah, like I like Robert Rodriguez's stuff.
I don't, so that's the problem. And I was like, oh, that's why.
I mean, he did stuff like I mean, mind you, it's most of what he's done was kind of simple like action stuff anyway. You know, but it's just like like he does have like a pedigree to his name.
He definitely does. I mean,
but it feels like all of a sudden it's like they just like Filoni and Favreau just took it over, and they're like, hey, like we want this in here.
Yeah.
Someone had said at some point that it looked like it was going to be the Godfather of Star Wars.
That's what it should have been.
And like that would have been really cool.
Yeah.
Had him like kind of I don't know what this was.
Yeah.
It
Again,
was, let's just completely assassinate the character.
To, once again, compare
They got close.
D&D, because I compare everything to D&D, which is why I know I would like Vox Machina.
So would you say the show was a crit fail?
No, what I mean is that it almost seems like it's like a super long 1-hour mini campaign run for one person, and you have who is Boba Fett. You know, there's someone's running Boba Fett as a character, and the DM is like, okay, here's the premise of like you know your backstory with like Jabba the Hutt and stuff. Well, now you're back here, and you want to do these things. But the player actually doesn't know how to handle any of those scenarios. And so they have the GMPC
controlled by a bad
just
player
saying everything to it, like, hey, maybe you should or shouldn't do this.
I love it.
Maybe you should or shouldn't do this. And the player just not being confident enough in those situations. That's sort of how I read the situation.
So was the DM also...
It's me playing D&D.
Yeah.
They're like, there's a wolf. And I'm like, I want to pet the wolf.
So was the DM also playing Fennec on a couple occasions? No, just kidding.
Well, yeah. No, Fennec was a DMPC. That's how it works. And then it's like...
DM
You're like, maybe you
DM,
should do this cool thing.
And the DM's like, okay, I'm going to keep having these, people... he has to interact with, right? And then this player's like, well, I want them to work for me now. And now they work for me. And the DM's like, okay, that's their decision. And then he just makes the same decision every single time. And then it's like, I don't know. That's how I read the scenario. It seemed very akin to that.
I love that.
That's awesome.
Because, like, I know that's how I would be in that situation. So many times I'm like, I'm going to play a character in D&D that's so cool and does all these things and is, like, so, like, awesome. But then it's like, I don't even know how to do that. And then it's like, I'm approaching situations where I'm supposed to know how to act like, again, like, sort of the Godfather-esque. And if you have never done that before, or you actually just don't consume any of that media, how would you know how to do that? I don't know. And so... Yeah. I don't know. That's just how I interpreted it. It makes me feel better about the whole scenario.
I think a Godfather situation, or making it more of like a Scarface, making him the villain.
Yeah.
And make it kind of a tragedy where LJ, you'd mentioned him, like, you want him to, like, die.
They should have.
Like a tragedy would be cool too.
That would have been. Oh, that would have been so impactful. I think that would have been. That would have shook some people.
Yeah,
there's a lot that they could have done that they just didn't.
I remember, like, one of my friends, too, who's, like, the biggest Star Wars nerd I've ever met, by the way. Like, he knows Star Wars, like, crazy.
Awesome.
One of his number one things that he talked about with the show is how it was the Star Wars curse of taking these characters, and because they are the main character in that show, making them so they have to be heroes, or they have to be quote-unquote good people.
Oh, I could see that.
Because it's still Star Wars. You can't have these people who are the main leads be bad people, because there's going to be children watching. There's going to be, like, they have to maintain their image with, like, Disney and Star Wars, right? I know there's some Star Wars stories that are, like, super dark and stuff, but, like, from what Disney's putting out, if they're going to have someone be the main lead or the main character, they're never going to have them be, I don't know, like, morally gray. Really, they're always going to have them end up being good in the end. Like, last time I think we had a really, like, awesome morally gray character in Star Wars was, like, Anakin in the prequels. But I don't think Disney owned it then. That was separate. No. So, like, as long as
Clone
it's in
Wars
Disney's
is a really good example of, like, morally gray stuff.
That's true. Clone Wars, yeah, for sure.
Jedi are not great people.
I just got through that whole plot line where they had, what was that general that basically just sent the troopers to become fodder? You know, like, that was heavy. Like, I'm like, I remember that's good Star Wars right there. Like,
I thought it was a village, but it's probably the same thing. And Anakin's like, we need to go save them, and Obi-Wan's like, we have no attachment. And I was like, oh dang,
yeah.
They're like, that's not the logical choice. There's no it's crazy.
Yeah.
I will clarify, LJ, you had joked about being a crit fail. I would say they rolled like a 7 or an 8.
Yeah, I agree.
I also agree.
It wasn't a terrible. I know we were ripping it apart, but it just wasn't.
It's so disappointing.
Yeah,
especially with all the other stuff Disney's put out.
I would give the show like a 5 out of 10 or something.
Yeah, it just was okay. I guess
maybe a 6, but
missed opportunity. I think is the biggest problem with it.
Yeah, I agree.
It is Iron Man 3.
Yeah. No. Yeah. You're right.
Cool. Well, we'll get into the TV news then. Where do I want to start? I think I want to start with Fallout. I don't know why. There's a Fallout TV show in the works that I'd kind of forgotten was a thing.
Yeah, also
Walton,
Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon. Walton Goggins was cast in the show, and I thought I was reading it as he was going to be the main character, and I think that would have been fantastic because he's such a he always acts so eclectically.
Dude's a good actor. Yeah.
Yeah. He's going to be a ghoul, which also makes sense. I mean, just
he could
the roles that he plays.
Yeah.
He's going to do awesome. I just think not having some tall, strong,
I just
overly
picture
handsome
his character in
cool.
Justified as a ghoul now, and that's amazing.
Funny enough, I hope I have him right. I'm going to make sure that I got this right person, but the Fat Man with Mel Gibson.
He was in
that Santa Claus movie that I love so much.
Yeah.
He's the hitman. For those who don't know, Fat Man, rated R Christmas movie. Mel Gibson plays Santa.
Christmas.
Oh my gosh.
And Walton Goggins plays Skinny Man. I didn't realize they never said his name. That's
Skinny
the name
Man.
underneath, Skinny Man.
That's great.
So what happens is Santa gives this kid coal for Christmas.
Yeah.
And so the kid hires a hitman, played by Walton Goggins, who hates Santa too, because Santa gave him a car for Christmas, a little Hot Wheel, and he wanted to. I don't remember. Movie's so stupid. I love it. And so he goes and hunts down Santa Claus, who is this hardened old man, because no one has Christmas cheer anymore. And the movie's so ridiculous. Anyways, Walton Goggins great in it.
I just thought that'd be a great opportunity to include so many Christmas-themed puns and one-liners.
Oh yeah. That movie is highly recommended in the same way that Sharknado is highly recommended.
But it's probably better than Sharknado.
Yeah. I mean, it's not trying as hard as Sharknado to be bad.
Okay.
What it does really wonderfully is it takes itself super serious. It's really, really wants to be a serious movie. And I think they did that as the joke. I think that is the joke.
Self-aware. Yeah, that kind of makes it kind of a weirdly self-aware.
Yeah. It's very edgy and
Yeah.
to where it's but this is you just in the back of your head you're this is Santa Claus, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
He literally is angrily dipping cookies in milk. It's awesome.
That's awesome.
Anyways, he's gonna be playing a ghoul in the Fallout show. I think it's gonna be wonderful.
Yeah.
He's also really funny in everything that I've seen him in. So I don't know. He's got a lot of range. We'll see. I want Fallout to be kind of a goofy, funny movie or show.
Oh yeah.
That's another one that I hope they don't take that super seriously. You literally can you can eat people in that.
Yeah,
game.
it's not as Borderlands silly, but it's still silly.
Yeah, it's just weird.
Yeah.
So hopefully they kind of lean into that a lot.
Yeah.
Also, Stranger Things got a release date.
Yep.
May 27th. Is that a holiday?
No.
It's not.
No.
Dang.
But it's...
Things are delayed. I wonder if it'll focus on a holiday.
I mean, isn't it focus on spring break a little bit?
I
mean, there's a holiday. There's a holiday present most of the time, but it's not a focus.
Spring break is close enough. It's always tied to some sort of time in the year.
Because the previous one was summer, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
4th of July. Especially.
So I would say more a season rather than a holiday.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, I can take that.
Yeah, because I like holiday stuff.
Yeah.
It should have been Easter and come out in March. It's also, we thought it was going to be the last season. So a couple more details. It is not the last season. Season 5 will be the last. Season 4 will be twice as long as the other seasons. So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's almost like we're getting 3 more seasons at least, if you think about it in sense of how many episodes we're getting.
I am at least happy to hear that they're have an end in sight though. These types of shows always scare me because I like them a lot, but I want a conclusion to the story. I don't want to just go on and get more and more nonsensical.
I love that they said they're getting there though. I think it's really cool to be we're ending this.
Like, thank goodness. I feel like it's a good story, but it does need to start to head in that direction, I think.
Yeah.
Especially the kids growing up.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're gonna have the Harry Potter problem.
Yeah. Very, very excited. Well, now we'll get into more Paramount news. We talked about Sonic 3 happening. Knuckles is a TV show. LJ would like it to be called And Knuckles.
Yeah, they should just call it And Knuckles. That'd be great.
Idris Elba will be reprising the role, which is kind of surprising. Like Idris Elba taking on any TV show, I just wouldn't think Knuckles would be his first choice.
They could totally do it about like the Echidna race and like the whole Master Emerald thing. Like,
yeah, there's a lot of like
there's lore there. Like if you think about it, Echidna's made a presence in the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
It'll be interesting. I mean, there was like you said in the movie, and then in the games, like Sonic Adventure, kind of leans into this. Like it's almost like a Mayan culture that they had, where the emeralds come from, and they're protectors of the emeralds. There's a lot of like in-game lore too. I'm sure there's comics and stuff too. I don't know about any of that.
Oh, I've heard those comics are good, especially like the recent ones.
Yeah,
like, I've heard they're pretty solid.
Knuckles is a cool character. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
should be fun. We also got Transformers Earthspark. I think we got a little like peek at what that looks like on a post. Paramount threw so much news out.
Yeah.
Halo Season 2 has been greenlit, and Halo's not even out yet.
Yeah. They did say they're going to show his face, which, I mean, obviously we see the actor, so...
Yeah. That's a weird like piece of news, but I'm sure they just wanted to get it over. Everyone would have been talking about it. I'd probably have been mad. They hadn't just, softened the blow. Just let us know.
Yeah, they had to be like, we're going to show his face. The other thing that trips me out is, like, I'm like, okay, we might want to hold on, is they got another Yellowstone-related show coming out, which I'm like, okay, like, I know it's one of the most popular shows right now, but y'all got to, like, slow your roll.
Yeah. I mean, that'll be a big thing, and I don't know if they're hoping, everyone will jump over to Paramount, but I don't think that we're in a stage now where people are going to choose one over the other. People are just buying more and more services.
I'm that person because now I have Paramount.
Yeah, I mean, I plan to get Paramount when Halo comes out.
Like, I hate
there's
it.
Avatar stuff after that's supposed to be in the works, and like, so I'm gonna pick it up, but I definitely am only gonna watch one or two shows.
But I also have to remember.
I spend all my time on Paramount.
Yeah, but I also have to remember, like, it seems like I have a lot because I do, but it's also like I still have Apple TV Plus or whatever, but I forget I have that for free for like 8 months or some ridiculous like thing. Right. So like it feels like I'm paying for so much, but I'm really not paying for as much. Mm-hmm. And then I think even Paramount's only like $5, I think, so it's not gonna like break the bank. Right. But it won't be long where that will hike up, kind of like Netflix just did. So it's like. We talk about this all the time. It's real sketchy with all these services. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Your cable bundle will be very different soon, I believe.
Yeah.
But live TV's still doing really well, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I really thought that cable would be completely cut at this point. And it hasn't yet, and I don't think it will for a while.
Yeah. I think
people are still big about their live TV.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, people have alternatives for live TV, like YouTube and Hulu now. So, like, that's the other thing, too, is we're getting dangerously close to where it's like regular cable will not be a thing because all the streaming platforms have some kind of version of live TV.
Yeah, that's true. Cable did a smart thing that I didn't see coming, and that was taking the DVR situation and just making it a streaming. Yeah. So, my mom, I've gone to her, like, we went to her house and she has cable. I was able to watch Walking Dead while I was there just because... most people that have cable know this, but I could literally just go back and look at old episodes on her cable box, watch them like a streaming service.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That was a really smart move on the cable company side.
Yeah. And then Cox even has something that's only a streaming box now, so it's it's getting weird.
My gosh.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, they had to adapt. It would have been an adapt or die situation. So
yeah.
That's very true.
Yeah. All right, that's it though. Are we geeking out about anything else this week? Oh, I am geeking out about something, but I'll let you guys. Okay.
You built it up. Now you gotta go.
Yeah. So my church is really small, but I was literally jumping out of my seat yesterday. My church, I go to Life Church. There's like 30 some campuses. I think it's 37 campuses now. And at each church location, they do before worship, during the countdown that people are like coming in. If you get there a little earlier, they do a cover song. The cover songs are usually like old like songs from like U2 or
that's cool.
Like Bruce Springsteen, whatever.
Nice.
So I do Pro Presenter, which is like fancy PowerPoint basically. And for the worship team, and I'm looking at the song called Enemy from Imagine Dragons.
That's
and I was
so
like,
cool.
I don't think I know this song. That's weird. And I'm like reading the lyrics and I'm like, and then like the music started and I just like my realization of what was playing at church was the theme song to Arcane.
That's so
And I was literally like, I go to the last two services, so everyone else had been there, everyone else had heard it. The guy in the sound booth, like he actually chose the song, so he knew. So no one else is freaking out, but I was literally like almost out of my chair, and I was
That's
like,
great. I love
yeah,
that
my
so
hands
much.
were all over the place, and everyone was like,
Nice.
calm down, it's cool.
I
I was so
love it.
excited.
funny. I was actually I was at game night the other day, and my sister was there, and we just had music going on in the background, and that song came on. And my sister, it's so funny because like I'm obviously like the very geeky one of the two of us. I consume all this geeky stuff, and she just doesn't. But she's watched Arcane, and I haven't yet. And she's like,
Oh,
Shelley,
wow.
when are you gonna watch Arcane? This is the theme song for Arcane. I'm like,
should.
I'm sorry, like I will. I just,
I think
I'm
you
very
should.
slow when it comes to shows.
Yeah,
My worship pastor nailed it.
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was probably one of the coolest things. I don't know. I go to a fun church. Whether we should have or not is debatable. But during youth group one day, we played the
I think I remember this story.
Squid Games
Yeah.
music to a game that they were playing. I think they were literally playing Tug of War. If you've seen the
Oh
show,
my
that's
gosh.
really funny.
Yeah, that's great.
And then we've also like played the theme song to Mortal Kombat as they've like walked in.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we like to have fun with it. But it's usually for the youth.
Yeah.
Like the theme song to Arcane, I would have more imagined would have been something they would have shown during Switch, not for big church as we call it.
Yeah,
It was cool.
that's
I'm
awesome.
sure all the nerds were very happy. All the geeks. But you guys geeking out about anything else this week?
I do have a small thing to add. I have
Yeah.
a box of old comic books to go through. Actually, he might be stoked because he might be listening to this. My buddy Jarrett from my old Bible study. So I was at work today, and all of a sudden I heard like when people give your name at like the DPS store. So I heard his wife like give her name, and I was like, "Hey, I'm like I know you. What's up?" You know, like so it's like I've been seeing people from church at my new job, and then so she comes back in with this box, and she's like, "Hey, like you know, like we're going through our old stuff, and you know we have these old comics. Like we were just gonna get rid of them and donate them, but seeing you here, like she's like, you know, I want you to have, or like, do you want these? Like, you know, like, and I was like, yeah, definitely. I was like, super cool. So I have a box of old comics now that I'm gonna go through. Like I saw some like old Swamp Thing comics, some Daredevil comics, some like old school like Archie stuff, Richie Rich, and like Disney stuff. Like that's gonna be a fun box to go through. So I'm a little excited about that beyond the other things I have going on, but yeah, it's kind of exciting. Like I'm definitely gonna take pictures and stuff of
Yeah, it's awesome.
some of the cool things I find in there. I haven't looked through them all yet, but it's exciting. So yeah. So Jarrett, if you're listening to this, thank you. So yeah.
Cool. You, Shelley?
Nah, I got none.
All right. LJ, where could they find you at?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at WarHeroLJ, streaming on our Twitch channel on Friday nights. I'm going to be having a new desk set up here pretty soon, and I got myself a new webcam, so the upgrade mode is happening, so stay tuned for all that.
Cool. And Shelley?
You can find me on Twitter at TheShellshock24. And then Tuesday nights I'm streaming on the twitch.tv/Geeks Under Grace channel. Still playing Persona 4 Golden. I'm not very consistent. Life is weird. But most weeks, yes, I'm playing that.
Cool. And you can find me on Instagram at Cody Armour. Keep gaming. Keep praying. And God bless.
Goodbye.
Peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. We love hearing from you, so feel free to ask us questions or just comment on the show by using the hashtag GUGcast on Twitter, or by joining the GUGcast questions channel in the Geeks Under Grace Discord. If you like this episode, consider leaving a review or rating of our show on your favorite podcast app. If you want even more Geeks Under Grace, you can always go to geeksundergrace.com. We love you all so much, so thank you for listening.